This is Dave McCain with the Right Tree Genealogy, working on the Get Started in Genealogy series, Part 1. This is a multi-part video series. It's all related to how much you end up interacting. I've got a series set up, but if questions come out, I'll do an update on each part as the requests come in, if there are any. So let's get into this. So getting into this, Getting Started in Genealogy series, Part 1. My name's David McCain. I'm a family genealogist. Been doing this almost 40 years, and I've got this YouTube channel, The Right Tree Genealogy. I want to make a little note here. It applies throughout this, but I may mention it again later on, as I'm using this based on my experience of almost 40 years of research. And I'm not paid or sponsored by any company I might mention in here. These are just products that I use or that I consider you should use. So let's go on forward. Now, what do we know? We all start with a blank page. Everybody's genealogy, when you first think that you want to do a family tree or do research on your family, it starts with this blank page here. Okay, everyone does this. So don't be overwhelmed if you're new to this, and those that have been doing this a long time realize sometimes there's still a blank page when we've been working on something for a while. So going to the next thing, we'll go ahead and zoom myself down a little bit further here. So down in the corner, this popped up as a slide that I could put in for the PowerPoint, and so I thought it made sense because it covers, here's you or me in this case, my parents, my grandparents on both sides, my great-grandparents on both sides. The fact of the matter is, the basic thing is, we all have this same chart. It's the family genealogist, you or me, that's required to do this. It's our to-do. So remember that regardless of who you are, where you are in the world, or anything else, all of us have this same tree, and it continues backwards. We all start with ourselves. So going forward is, what do I know? Now, a preface to this is that I'm focusing this on those that have an easier path for genealogy. There are solutions for those that are adopted that go beyond what this is, but you still can start here with what you know and go forward. So starting here, I suggest you start with yourself and you list the basics. What's your birthday, place of birth, spouse information, those things that you see listed here. And on your parents, if you have information on them, for instance, they're deceased, one or both of them, you want to get that date written down. And you want to also make some listings of your siblings here. Okay, same information if you have siblings or know of siblings. And then each page should have all this information. Be concise. This isn't a story time. This is time to do it in a concise, non-storytelling manner. With that, here's a starter first page example. Okay, you have the date of the record, and this is all fictitious. I just made this up for this example so we could talk here. You're starting this on January 1st, 2022. It's your New Year's resolution. Your name is Joseph George Bailey, father John William Bailey, mother Mary Jane Brown, what day you were born, your spouse's name when you got married, and your children's name. Now, with that said, this is kind of a basic sheet. There's a little more information you can do, but it should be a one page when you're writing this down and getting started. Now, a little further extended information, and again, this is still all fictitious information, just putting it together. I have the other information that will be going on that other page. You know, the father's date of birth, where he was born, the day he died. Same thing on the mother and the day she died, and what date they got married. These are all pieces of information you want. And I also want to make a notation here. It's very important. You want to list the children, as I did backing this up. You notice here at the bottom of this page here, I list the children's name for you or me in this case as the example, the fictitious example. Well, I have me, my wife's name, and the children's names if this was me or you. Well, you want to do that on each of the parents and each person as you go forward, because you're creating these sheets for your records. So let's go. So my whole point behind that is you're wanting a one page roughly of getting started. This is you getting started trying to figure out what you know. The key to this whole presentation is what do you already know, because it helps the next step that I present in the way I help people do this. So once you get this down on one page, preferably one page as you're doing this, then you're able to do the next thing. So the details that you can have in a concise manner is a good thing. So going back to this, we go to what do I know, start with what you know. Same phrase, same statement. Continue this for your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, whomever you know. And again, this is how you get started so you know what you know. I recommend people figure out what they know before they actually get to their next step, which is in the next video, but I'll preface it in saying is take what you know and figure out what you want to know. So anywho, you want to do this and have each one of those pages so that you know the date that you did them, and is it your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your grandparents. And then you want to do what is called organized, okay? You want to either use this on pre-made forms, log sheets, or you want to make your own. And I suggest you use pre-made ones. To me, you want to use pre-made ones because you're new to this. If you're new to genealogy, using these pre-printed forms kind of give you an idea of what you're collecting. And then you can always create your own as you go forward. Some examples of this, and I went straight to Amazon, and I want to preface this is, I'm not paid or sponsored by any of these, any individuals listed here or companies, and these are prices as of January 2022 when I'm doing this. They could change without me knowing it from Amazon. So I'm looking at one here. You get 7 types of records, and you get 40 sheets total, okay? It says includes 14 5-generation charts, 2-sided family group sheet, and more. So, and then down here, this is the LDS, or now they're called Family Search or Research Centers. But this is a packet that was available online at the time of this recording that you could possibly get and order in, and it's basically the same type of information. Now, going forward, I went ahead and pulled out what you see as an example from this same company. It's Easy Genie, and you can't see it very well, but it says, born where, born when, born where, died when, died where, those things, and you're the ancestor of. So for instance, you put yourself in this block right here, and your parents, grandparents, etc. back. You can say who did this sheet and the date you did this sheet. And these are, again, records as you step forward. And another example is the family group sheet. So that data that you recorded on that the original sheets that you wrote down, you can now transfer it into here: child's name, birth date, location, marriage date, and all that stuff. Those things that I wrote down and had you write down on the beginning sheets are in this example family group sheet from Easy Genie. Okay, so that's an example of that. You're wanting to transfer what you did on your notes. So you've done your notes. Now you want to transfer them to these log sheets that you can put in a binder or in some folders that you can keep track of, because this is going to get bigger as you go. This is your written or hand documentation that you're working on. You go forward and you do digitize these as you step forward, but right now this is where you record the documents, information that you've done in your what do I knows. Okay, now this video is fairly short, and here's the next step of this. When you get started, start with what you know, make a sheet for each person, and again, it's concise. This is not storytelling time. You may write a book, you may write stories, short stories, things that you want to post out to family. That's fine if you want to blog or you want to do something like that, but this is really collecting the data and what you know. And then once you write it down, You know, you want to transfer this into forms that have the data collected. You've got your notes. Now you've got it in a concise format. And those are usable and findable for the future. Now that we've got that done, you know, what you know, you have to, and it's organized, it's the next step. And the next step, I want to give a preview of what that is right now. So I'm going to skip forward to what the next video will be about. What do you want to know? It's a blank page. The key to all this is genealogy is really what you want to know. You determine what you want to know, how you want to know it, and so the second part is going to kind of give you questions to ask and what the next step is now that you've written down what you know. So I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you continue to watch this series. Please consider subscribing right here, watching some of these other videos and educations I put out, and let's continue this series together. Thank you.